are the jitters, Matt, to you walking to the podium today to give that speech as opposed to walking to the plate with 40,000 watching?
It's not close, really. That's something that we're, as baseball players, comfortable with. I mean, obviously the first game you play in the major leagues, there's some jitters in playing in a major league stadium. But trying to come up with a speech is difficult, and then deliver it and not get emotional. And I was a little nervous about it, and my wife said, "Hey, if you need me, just call me up. I'll ask you the questions." I'm like, "No, I got it." So I would say 10 times over, it's more nerve-wracking giving a speech than taking it at bat.
Did you ever think, in the middle, maybe after your fourth All-Star game here, and you're out opening day, you're looking at those guys in the red jackets, you're like, I got a shot. I need to put that thing on.
I think as a player, you never go there. I mean, I think that, later I got in my career and near the end, when people would bring that up, I would start to think, man, that would be awesome. And you start to consider the opportunity that might come and what that would look like. And you start to, I guess the older you get, you start to appreciate some of that stuff more and the opportunity maybe to one day do that. So I'm obviously extremely excited to be part of this fraternity.
How many Hall of Fames are you in? Is this the first one you're in? How many others?
I'm actually in the high school sports. I got a couple years ago, 2 years ago, I think I went into the high school sports Hall of Fame, and then I went into the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame. So I guess a couple, which I don't feel old enough to be in Hall of Fames, so I'm not all that excited about being in multiple Hall of Fames, other than it's a great honor, but I don't feel that old.
Matt, if I could ask you about a part of your career that's a specific thing. 2011 NLCS against the Brewers. What a year that was with the Brewers and Nigel Morgan and the intensity, and I know Freeze got the hard way, but you very well could have as well. Can you share some emotions from that time?
Yeah, I mean, that season was just all kinds of cool, awesome moments. Even thinking back, just about losing Adam, in spring training. Typically when you lose, at least you're 1A. I mean, we had Carp, obviously, who was an incredible pitcher still. So to lose Adam before the season even started, and for how that all unfolded, and then you talked about during the season and the rivalry that had become pretty heated and pretty intense with the Brewers, and then to match up with them in the NLCS to go to the World Series, it seemed fitting at the time just because it felt like we were destined for that. And there was a lot of, smack talk. There was a lot, as you remember, there was a lot of intense moments and back and forths. And for us to be able to win that series and to be able to contribute and then to do it in Milwaukee was special. And there was I think it was a little bit extra sweet, against the interdivision rival things had become heated with. And that was a pretty crazy celebration, if I remember correctly, from some of the guys in Milwaukee. Stayed up pretty late that night, so that was a fun time. And like I said, I was always thrilled to have good series and had a pretty good one.
You've kept kind of a connection with Major League Baseball, whether it was through working with Matt Carpenter or working with Nolan Arenado or talking with a lot of guys, and now of course with your son. What do you think the future is for you in Major League Baseball? Do you think about that?
Well, I Ethan's 15, and then Grayson, my daughter's 12, and Reed's 9. And Ethan's pretty heavily involved in baseball, and so, I think someday I'd like to get involved in Major League Baseball. I do know that when I do, I want to be able to be all in and not feel like I'm missing anything with the kids. I mean, I thought about this offseason, some opportunities that came my way. I just wasn't ready to be down in spring training and have my boys playing high school baseball on the same team and feel like I was missing that. And so I think at some point when I feel like there's a time where I can dive all in and be, take on a schedule that is Major League Baseball, I would like to get back involved and see what that looks like. But as of now, I'm happy spending lots of time with my kids. I'm also getting to learn how to coach and coach different types of athletes and doing some college stuff. I've enjoyed that age and the mentorship element of coaching 18 to 22-year-olds. So I feel like I'm getting some coaching experience, but also getting a chance to spend a lot of time with family.
But with your youngest 9, does that mean he graduates when he's 18, you're 9 years away from this Major League Baseball idea?
Well, I don't know. You know, it kind of depends on which way he goes, you know, as far as sports goes, and if he wants, you know, if he gets actively involved in baseball and you know, so I don't know exactly, you know, if I would want to wait and all the way until he was sort of out of high school. You know, I probably in the next couple of years when Ethan's, you know, playing high school baseball, I'd like to be around for that, and then see kind of where we're at from there.
Were you expecting it, on the emotions just to hit you as hard as they did on the stage? It was a beautiful speech, and I know that you said that you worked on it. Were you expecting the emotions?
Yeah, I mean, I think anytime you start talking about people that mean a lot to you, especially, you know, family and teammates and experiences, there's a chance of that happening. And so I was trying to prepare for it and knew that might be an option, particularly when I talk about my family and my wife and my kids. It's hard not to get somewhat emotional, but you know, I'm not like I said, I'm not a professional speech giver, so I was concerned that that's why I kept that for the end. You know, I should have started with thanking my wife, but I told her, I said, look, you're going to be at the end, because if I get emotional and can't get it back, I'll at least have made it through the speech. So I had some strategy behind where that was placed, and it wasn't her being the last priority for sure.
You mentioned it in the speech, and I know a lot's been written about it over the decades, but your childhood and occasionally coming through St. Louis, and what can you share about the Cardinals in Matt Holliday teenage or single-digit age life?
Yeah, I mean, you know, in Oklahoma, really, we don't have a team that's all that close, and so you got the Rangers, and then sort of the Cardinals are, you know, the Rangers are 5 hours, Cardinals are 7 hours, but I think growing up, particularly in a baseball family, where, you know, I was a fan of a lot of different players that my dad coached in different organizations, but just sort of a fan of baseball and appreciation for all the guys that are on that stage, and you know, just I guess, you know, you watch more Cardinal baseball because it's on local. Back then you couldn't watch every game every night like you can now, but you know, I just think about the matchup of how much I love baseball with sort of this baseball crazy town and really area in general, you know, this area. It was just such a good fit for me, and I was really happy to obviously be part of this.
And again, you might have talked about this in the past, you said you literally came to games occasionally?
We would, on our way through here, we would stop through, like every summer my dad would take us on sort of, we were usually driving to Pennsylvania to see his folks in Pennsylvania, and we would stop through St. Louis and go to a game, and then on up to Pennsylvania. So I saw a few games here, but that was our summer vacation that we would do every year. We would probably easily go either California and watch all the games at all the stadiums, or drive up to Pennsylvania and stop along the way.
Pretty incredible. You're sitting in those red seats watching a game, and not only did you get to play for that team, but you became a Red Jacket member of that team.
Yeah, I mean, I have a very blessed baseball life, you know, when it comes to baseball and my opportunities as a kid, and then all the way up to where I'm at now. I've gotten to do some really cool things that as a kid, if you had told me I got a chance to do all the things that I've been able to do or get a chance to be part of, I'd be pretty excited about it.
Matt, for your entire playing career, Albert and Yachty defined a lot of what the Cardinals were, and Adam from a pitching point of view. When you became a Cardinal, what did you learn about them as teammates that you didn't know competing against that kind of?
You know, I think the thing that immediately jumped out at me was the way that Carp and Waino and you know, some of the older pitchers at the time, the way that they sat on the bench and they rooted for their teammates, and this expectation that everybody was there, right there at the whole game, rooting for their guys, not up in the clubhouse, you know, doing the things that I had seen previously, and just the accountability and watching Carp work and watching Albert work and watching these guys and the intensity and the expectation of what it takes to play for the Cardinals and to play to win and to play to win every night, and just the competitiveness was behind the scenes. Obviously, when you play against them, you know they're great players and they play to win and they play the game the right way. But I think that the whole everything that goes into that, to me, and just the kind of culture that was created because the best players were also incredibly hard workers and cared about winning and cared about teammates and cared about each other was what to me was something that I wanted to be a part of moving forward.
Did you talk to Elbert before that phone call that you described?
Not really. I mean, obviously we played in a couple All-Star games together and had gotten on base, and I was always from afar, right-hand hitter. Everybody loved to watch Albert hit. So we had some conversations light, at All-Star games and stuff. But yeah, that was a pretty cool moment for me.
I wondered if that was disarming,
Yeah, for sure. Like it just made me that much more excited. When he got on the phone and it was pretty cool.
If the baseball gods were to come to you, Matt, and offer you this deal, that Jackson is going to have your career, 300 home runs, 400 RBIs, 900 OPS, would you take it, or would you gamble the other way? No, he's going to be better.
Oof. I'll gamble with it because we're just a lot different in players, the way we're, style player. But I'm really excited about his skill set. I mean, I think he's going to be a great player. I'm really happy to watch and excited to watch it. I mean, I told the boys and even Reed, I'm not sure about his baseball career yet, but the two older boys, I'm fairly confident that baseball is what they want to do for a living. I told them my goal was 1,000 homers as a family. So they've got some work to do. But if Reed ends up making it, we'll be in better shape. But when you cut that pie 3 ways and possibly 4, they may have to pick up my end of the slack a little bit. But that's a good question. I'm because I don't want to diminish how hard it is, but I'll gamble on this one.
And then one more on my end. When you see Albert right now, and you're basically born a day apart, what are you thinking at this age?
It's been really cool. I mean, I've just been so excited how well he's played. It started off as a cool story, and his numbers the last couple of years, haven't been what we would expect, and just to see the production and how much he looks amazing. Like he's hitting balls as far as he did in his prime, and I'm just rooting hard for him to get 700. I know that he said this is it, even though he's doing so well. So if this is it, I hope he gets to 700. I'm going to tell him, look, the way he's playing, he should play another year. He could do this role again. He's killing lefties, now with a DH and no need to carry a ton of utility players anymore. He could stay on a roster another year or two. So it sounds to me like he's probably done. But I hope he gets to 700, and it'd be a cool celebration.
It's a nice round number. So people talk about this.
I don't know. I guess I just want to beat Alex Rodriguez. I don't know. I just think, people make it, you're right. I mean, 699, 698, 700, but it's just incredible. His career is even just thinking about how many homers that actually is, it's silly.
You have to be there you have to go on deck for it.
I saw quite a few. Yeah. I also saw him walk a lot so that they would pitch to me.